What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Christ, 3 years running top seller at ShineOn, now head of marketing at ShineOn. And before we get started in today's video, I just wanted to thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. If you like this kind of content, I want you to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I hope you enjoy the video. What's up?
How we doing?
How is everybody? What's up, Mario?
What's going on, Michael?
How you doing, brother?
Cheers.
Yeah, what's up? We've got a little special guest for you today. We're going to talk about that in just a second. How's everybody doing? Give us some love here in the chat. This is my favorite time of the week, as I'm sure it is your favorite time of the week, because it is the best time of the week. This is how you kick your weekend off right here. You know it, I know it. Everybody doing good? Joy says hello to Mario.
Joy's the best.
What's up, David? Beth says hello. I'm not getting any love here. That's all right. Oh, Shay came through. I'm feeling pretty good now. Michael Zapq is how you say that last name. Took me a little while to figure that out. Zapq says, what's up, Mario?
What's up, buddy?
Facebook user never lets me down.
Classic.
He's in every live stream I do. All right. You guys know how we kick this off. This is the best coffee with Michael this week. Guaranteed. Maybe the best coffee with Michael ever. You never know unless you watch it. And replays are just not the same. There's just not as much energy coming off of those replays. So how do we kick these things off? Well, they're never exactly right unless we start with the digital marketer's toast. So everybody reach for your glass, mug, bottle, or flask and get ready. Here we go. Raise up your glasses, mugs, bottles, or flasks and join me now for the digital marketer's toast. Here's to more conversions, more cash, cheap CPMs, and lower CACs, to higher CTRs, much higher CVRs, to enable ad accounts and big bank accounts, to upsells, downsells, and cross-sells, to winning products and repeat sales, and to the thing that everybody knows, the riches are in the niches, but also your email flows. Drink.
Cheers.
That's how we do it. I feel positive vibes just rising off of the stream now. All right. We're going to be talking about graduation today because graduation season is here. So we just had a very successful Mother's Day. We're going to get into that in just a minute. Talk a little bit about how we rounded Mother's Day off. A lot of people take their foot off the gas pedal after Mother's Day. They completely overlook graduation, and graduation can be a huge selling season, especially in the jewelry niche. You wouldn't think it, but it's a huge market and there's not a ton of competition. So you don't want to totally sit this one out. But before we do, let's get into Mother's Day a little bit and talk about Mario. So Mario Manduni is a coach, and he's been full-time with ecom. It's for 6 or 7 years. He was a bar manager, and he got into doing some free plus shipping, drop shipping angles back in the day. Made like $150K selling $10 watches.
No, made like $1.5 million. Sold 150,000 watches.
What's that?
Well, sold 150,000 watches. Did like
holy crap!
Yeah, we did.
I had that completely upside down.
Yeah.
And that was at like $10 a pop.
Yeah, we started at 10, got up to like 7.
That's a lot of freaking watches, people.
Before they turned the ad account off. Yeah.
That's a lot of watches. So he's absolutely smashed it in the past. Let's see here. He got into coaching. He's had several 6- and 7-figure students, and he's even coached some people with some 8-figure stores. So he's got a lot of experience helping people reach heights with their e-commerce endeavors. So he's got a lot of knowledge here, a lot of knowledge bombs are going to be dropped. What you're seeing on the screen here is one of Mario's students, Tiffany. He helped Tiffany scale one of her ShineOn products here in the run-up to Mother's Day. You can see Mario actually posted in the group, I think it was Mario or Tiffany on May 1st with a little screenshot. She had done $11,000 in revenue in a single day. And that was just the start. Mario kind of continued to help her, and she reached $100,000 in sales before shipping cutoff. Mario posted this yesterday. So this is just an example of some of the success Mario is driven. Joy says, your little poop emojis. I agree with that. I've known Mario for a while now. Can totally vouch for this guy. He knows his stuff. And Tiffany's here. Hey, Tiffany. I wish we could have had you on. If you're open to joining us, shoot me a message on Facebook, and I'll send you the link.
Yeah,
you can hop on here with us. That might be kind of cool.
Come on up.
Let me just make sure I'm going to see your message if you hit me up.
Tiffany's the best. The best student. Every single group call, every single task, just phenomenal attitude the entire time. Just like the definition of persistence and just growth. Love it.
That's what it takes to succeed, though, right?
Absolutely.
You have to implement.
Not only succeed, but hit success and stay there, too. Because a lot of people can hit one, but Tiffany's just going to keep going up and up and up.
Congrats, Tiffany. Let's give Tiffany some love. Let's give her some little clap emojis in the chat. She deserves it. So funny story here while we're waiting to hear from Tiffany. So Mario had an interesting day. So I talked to Mario last night. It's kind of spur of the moment thing. I was like, I kind of want somebody to join me this week on my Coffee with Michael. I knew Mario was a coach. He just had the success with Tiffany. I reached out to Mario. Mario was like, I'm game. And then he messaged me a few hours ago, and he sends me this screenshot, right? This picture right here. And he tells me he was in a car accident this morning. Mario was in a car accident. Somebody rear-ended him, and he was in the ER. But in his text, he's like, I'm still going to make it to Coffee with Michael. Right? So I just had to tell the story. What happened, dude?
Oh man, I was just got back up into Tallahassee for Mother's Day. Spent some time with Mom. Was showing my lady friend around. I was literally telling her, "Don't run on this street because the drivers are crazy." And then we take a turn to just run some errands, and bam, some lady just absolutely nailed us from behind. So we're okay. Just banged up. A little physical therapy is going to be needed. That's all. No big deal. Could have been a lot worse. Yeah.
So it's not as bad as it looks, is what you're saying.
Yeah. No. This picture definitely makes it look worse. Yeah.
I like how you didn't take the hat off. I like how the hat stayed in place. Priorities, man. So you're doing okay. You're healthy. That's good. All right. Getting some love here in the chat. Glad you're okay. OMGs. Yeah. Well, anyway, one thing I want to touch on, though, is the dedication, right? This is what we talk about. Like, it takes a lot to succeed in this business. Like, you really have to be committed to it. I joke around every time we get into selling season that, like, hey, maybe you should reevaluate sleep. And I'm only halfway joking. I mean, really, like, these opportunities, we get a handful of Super Bowls every year, right? We get a handful of these peak selling seasons every year. And you really should position yourself to take full advantage of them, right? So, and I think you're just kind of an example of that dedication. You were literally in a car accident. You're strung up here in a neck brace, and you were making it. You told me the whole time you were making it, and you kind of rushed back home. So anyway, props, man. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
Glad to be here, man.
Everyone says they're glad you're okay. Take care. Glad you're okay. All right. Okay, let's get into the meat. Here at the end, we're going to do a Q&A, and Mario is going to jump in. He's also going to add color commentary as we go. We'll get moving quick. All right, seller successes. John, in his run-up to Mother's Day, $14,000 in profit, $24,000 in revenue. Says he feels like he left a lot on the table, but congrats, John. Love to see your success, dude. Go after it, man. Love to see this action. Love to see seller success stories. You got some swag coming your way. Somebody from my team will be reaching out. We got a t-shirt, a backpack, something or other, maybe a mug coming your way, buddy. So thanks for sharing that. Great job. Another one from Gary Contreras. Now, Gary, I should probably mention, but the coffee in my cup today is actually from Gary. Gary sent me some coffee. By the way, if you want to get on my good side, you want to get in my pocket, send me a little bag of coffee. Gary's from Costa Rica. They have some of the best coffee in the world. Gary did $70,000 in revenue. Congratulations, Gary. He's been part of the community for a while. Guy's been a big action taker. He totally deserves this. Super happy to see your success, buddy. You deserve every single penny of it. So congratulations. You've got some swag coming your way. You probably have all of our swag. Gary also visited our headquarters like a month and a half ago or so. He's probably got all of our swag. Either way, somebody from my team will be reaching out. Maybe we got something more for you. Imdeen Nazrul Islam did $41,000 in revenue. Congratulations, buddy. Good job. Love to see the action, especially in the run-up to Mother's Day and these holidays. This is what it takes, guys. This kind of opportunity is out there. The pie is huge. The marketplace is gigantic. I see people all the time kind of asking me like, hey, is it too saturated, whatever. No. The answer is no. I don't even think we're close to hitting a saturation point with e-commerce. People were saying that e-commerce was saturated before COVID. And in COVID, they discovered that e-commerce had 10 years of growth in 3 months. In 3 months. This is the way people are going to shop in the future. It's only going to continue to grow. You don't have to be worried about that. MD hit 41,000 in revenue. Congratulations, buddy. Somebody from my team will reach out. You've got some swag coming your way.
Mike, can I add some color to that saturation thing?
Go for it, buddy.
In 2015, I literally did the exact opposite of what a course was teaching. They were like, oh, don't do this, don't sell this product because it's too saturated. Here's a perfect example of selling this of a product that you don't want to sell. Sold 150,000 of them because I sold them on Instagram, and everybody else was saying, all the other gurus were saying Facebook traffic only, Instagram's garbage. So you just have to be like slightly off the beaten path with concepts that work. There's no such thing as saturation.
Dude, I want to underscore something real quick too. You didn't sell $150,000 in revenue. You sold 150,000 units.
Yeah.
That is mind-blowing. That is absolutely mind-blowing. I don't think I've sold 150,000 units of anything.
Yeah.
You can probably add up everything I've ever sold, and I don't think it's 150,000 units.
Yeah,
that is a lot of units, guys.
Yeah, we had 6 VAs doing customer service. You guys could do the same money with like one part-time VA on customer service with ShineOn. It's one of the nice benefits. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's incredible, dude. But you know what? It also, I mean, to your point,
yeah,
you never reach saturation, right?
No.
And that was in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So the market is just even bigger now. So do not sit this out, guys. I'm telling you, this is the best best entrepreneurial opportunity in the history of the world. I'm not kidding. There's never been a better time to be alive, right? There's more prosperity in the world than there ever has been. And think of what ShineOn gives you. You can literally take an idea in your head, put it on a product for free. You don't have to hold any inventory. You don't have to take on any risk. You get to sell it to people you've never met using the same distribution channels as like a Target or a Walmart for pennies on the dollar, and you only pay when you make a sale. I mean, it's completely risk-free. We do all the customer service. You don't have to have a brick and mortar store. There's basically zero money up front. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. You do not want to sit this out. All right. This might be the last one. So we have Kirsta. Kirsta did $250,000 in revenue and his run up to Mother's Day here. Just got to give this guy a shout out. He is such a freaking ninja. This guy just constantly keeps the pressure up all year long. He's one of the most impressive sellers I've ever seen. I'm gonna just brag a little bit that he did take my course way back in the day. So a little bit of bragging rights, but this guy has totally gone beyond what I've been capable of. So
I bought your course in beta too, Michael.
What's that?
I bought your course in beta. I was one of your first.
Oh, did you? Okay, well there you go. Well, anyway, he's fantastic. Kirsta, somebody will reach out to you, give you some swag. Again, you probably have all the swag you need, but whatever. It's fun around here. But this is Mother's Day, guys. This was the Mother's Day run. We had fantastic success, phenomenal sales. It was incredible. And now we have graduation upon us, and you're not going to want to sit that out. All right, so let's talk real quickly about a new upsell. I don't think everybody saw this in the group, but we have a new upsell. Uh-oh. Where are my slides? Can you still hear me, Mario?
I've got you. How about everybody else? Can we hear Michael?
We got about a 30-second delay. I'm back, huh?
See the deck now. Yep.
That was weird. Okay, well, I'll just keep it in this view. Actually, shoot. I'll try to make it bigger for everybody again so you can read it. Well, guess I'm stuck. All right, so we got a new upsell, everybody. Thanks for hanging with me. Sorry, I had a little technical something or other. So we have a warranty. We have warranties now on the platform. So on the platform, we have warranties. It's a $9.95 warranty. We're splitting that revenue with you 50-50. So you can add about $5 to your average order values just by turning this on. And warranties have a pretty high take rate. So they're a great thing to have. Plus, it's on the product page itself. So they're still in buying mode, right? And they're going to be, the conversion rates on it are probably going to be higher than what you see in post-purchase. Now, if you want to turn this on and start experimenting with it, it's really simple to do. You need to go into your product admin, go over to your product page. If you're on desktop, you're going to see this seller experience box. It's going to be over on the right-hand side of the screen. It's where your coupon codes, your free shipping, and some of your other options are. You're going to see display warranty upsell right here. Toggle that on. And when you do, it's going to put this little add-on box right here on your product page. It's a 2-year warranty, $9.95. It's going to be a real simple way to increase your AOVs. Again, our goal, guys, is to be a platform that offers 3-digit AOVs. We want 3-digit AOVs to be normal language in the ShineOn community, both on the app, and on the platform. I've had some questions about whether or not this is going to be on the app. The answer is yes. It's just taking a little bit of time. There's some more we have to develop in order to make some of these premium add-ons available on the app. And by the way, we're just getting started, guys. Just getting started. This here is the tip of the iceberg. We're going to have gift sets, polishing kits, teddy bears. We're going to have premium add-ons that rotate throughout the year. You're going to be able to stack the add-ons. So you'll be able to display 3, 4, 5 add-ons at a time if you want. You're going to be able to stack them, remove them, whatever you want based on whatever the data is telling you in Facebook and whatever you think is going to be appropriate for your niche. All this is coming. Again, our goal is 3-digit AOVs, people. Normal language in the ShineOn community. We're super excited about this. Beth over here says this is an epic feature. Totally agree with you, man. Totally agree with you. This is a game changer. Nobody else in our space is doing this kind of stuff. Nobody. I mean, we are just constantly blazing trails here. So anyway, take advantage of that. Again, go into your product page, product admin over on the right, inside of the, I think it's purchase experience. You're going to see the option way up at the top. Vinoj said he already got some increased AOV because of this. That's $5 extra. Remember, these days when $1 can make or break a campaign, these kind of features are everything, guys. They're everything. They can keep you in the game until your pixel get optimized or you get your targeting figured out, that kind of thing. Okay, now let's get into graduation. Go quickly here. So first of all, I want to show you, I want to prove to you that graduation can be a big hit. So last year, we had a seller with a product. Looks something like this. We've kind of blurred some things and we're protecting some identities here. Had over 3,000 units sold, $150,000 in revenue, is over $150,000 in revenue in a graduation product, right? This is at a time when no one really hits the graduation niches. And even when they do, they don't expect them to be very big. This was a seller kind of heading into new ground. They were experimenting with a new product. They did $150,000 in revenue. Here's another example, different seller, 1,400 units sold, $70,000 in revenue on another product targeting graduation. And by the way, these are just two. I had many examples to choose from. These were just two I pulled out off the top of my head that I wanted to show you. These are the ones I remember from last year. But there are more. Graduation can be gigantic. And if you get the niche nailed, it's actually awesome because there's not tons of competition in the niche. So you get pretty low CPMs, you get cheap CPAs, so it can be very profitable. So anyway, you don't want to sit graduation out. It's another great time to be experimenting and to be scaling. Let's talk a little bit about how you do that. And then I quickly want to get to the Q&A here so we can borrow as much knowledge from Mario here as we possibly can. All right, so first, graduation season. Most people think, if you're in the United States anyway, you think it ends in May, but we've seen graduation sales tick off all the way through mid to late June. I think part of what you have going on there is you have a bunch of high school graduations kind of at the end of May, beginning of June. You also have college kind of stacked on top of that. But you also have parties, like graduation parties and things like that throughout the month of June. And we think a lot of people buy these gifts for the parties. So don't just stop selling these products at the end of May. Run them all the way through the end of June, or until the data tells you should turn it off. The dates do vary a little bit depending on where you're targeting. I've also found that outside of the United States, graduation season tends to run a little bit longer. I couldn't tell you why on that. I'm sure there's a reason. I don't really know what it is, but we have seen graduation sales go all the way through summer, like all the way through the end of July, outside of the United States. So if you go worldwide, that could be a play for you. Most popular times for college, it's the entire month of May. For high school, it's the end of May and early June. Again, these are the most popular times. My recommendation is do your testing, get a product up that's got some sales going on. And then what you need to do is just let that ride until the data tells you to turn it off. Joy here is backing me up. She said that she's attended a graduation as late as June 19th. As late as June 19th. So again, it's a big season. It's a big season. It doesn't peak in quite the same way as like Mother's Day, right? You'll just see an elevated sales for an extended period of time. So definitely want to take advantage of this. Let's talk a little bit about the products you should be focusing on. So I like the personalized cross for men. Personalized cross for men's a good one. We also have the dog tags. Dog tags can work well for men in the graduation space. I like the cross though, because the AOVs on the cross are just insane. We have sellers selling the cross for $85. $85 AOVs on the cross after engravings added and everything else. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So I like the cross for men. Then this birthstone necklace. The birthstone necklace is a really popular one as well. It's cool because you get to engrave it and you also get the birthstone. So there are multiple layers of personalization on the cross, and that makes it really popular. Among shoppers. And then finally, we have peas in a pod. Now, I'm sure that everybody's probably stepping away from peas in a pod, thinking, oh, hey, it was just a Mother's Day thing. But there's actually a really unique angle here with peas in a pod as it relates to graduation. And that is a lot of times when people are getting out of high school, even college, I would say, they move, right? They move. Many times people leave states, they leave cities. If you're in high school, everybody probably remembers you moved to a different town, right? And you're away from your parents for the very first time. And so the angle here is a mother gifting to the daughter, saying, I know you're going away, I'm going to miss you, but remember, we'll always be 2 peas in a pod, something like that. The other angle you could have here, it'd probably be more appropriate at the college level, is 2 people that are best friends, right? 2 girls that are best friends. Maybe they went to college together. They were in a fraternity, sorority together. And, maybe they bonded really close, something like that. And now college is done and they're moving away to different states to start jobs and new lives, something like that, right? The peas in a pod necklace is a great item to sell to somebody like that. It's kind of cute. It's got this friendship angle going on to it. It's got the birthstones. It's a neat, memorable keepsake kind of piece. So you don't want to leave that on the table. One piece of advice related to peas in a pod, if you're selling it, make sure in your ad you call out that it's peas in a pod, right? Peas in a pod. That way people understand what they're looking at. If you don't connect peas in a pod with the image, they may not do that themselves, right? Many people can, but not everybody. So you want to do that for them. Make it as easy as you can for them to understand the product. So make sure you call it 2 peas in a pod. I would even recommend tying that into your message card, right? Saying like, hey, you're leaving, I'm going to miss you, but always remember we'll be 2 peas in a pod kind of thing, right? Tie that into the message card, play that emotional angle. If they cry, they'll buy. It's the phrase that pays. You guys know all the sayings we have around here. That's a good play on it. All right. Just looking at the comments here. Peas in a pod, best gift for best friends. That's right. 100%. Louis says, have a graduation to go to on June 20th. Yeah, so the season is long. Remember, it doesn't peak as hard as a lot of other holidays, but you'll see elevated sales once you nail it. The other cool thing about graduation is you have a longer testing season too, right? Because you don't have this hard cutoff date with shipping. You can spend a little bit more time testing until you get something dialed in, and then you can benefit from just kind of elevated sales over normal for an extended period of time. So, all right, let's keep going here. All right, so quick, let's talk about a testing method that you can apply. I'm going to try to go full screen again so you can see this. Bam, it worked. Fantastic. My little laser pointer on just makes me feel cooler, I guess. All right, so this is a little testing method you can try if you're not familiar with Facebook, you've never ran some ads before, you're new. This is one that I like. I call it the wishing well method. You have one CBO campaign for relatively cheap, at $25 a day. You can increase the budgets if your budget allows. And then you have 5 ad sets, right? 5 ad sets. Each of the ad sets can be duplicates or a unique interest. I'm going to recommend that for graduation, you test unique interests, and I'll talk about those interests in just a second when I get to targeting. What I like to do on the ad sets is I like to set a minimum spend of like $125 a day. So the way I get to $125 a day on this, I usually take my total budget over here and I figure out what 20% of my, or 25% of my total budget is. In this case, it'd be about $5. And then I try to spread that $5 out across my ad sets, right? So that comes to a minimum ad spend of about $1.25 a day on each of those ad sets. Look, this isn't an exact science, but I like to give my CBO ad sets a little bit of minimum spend because I want to make sure Facebook actually spends to the audience and gather some data. Facebook is very quick to optimize your CBO campaigns. And I can't tell you how often I've gone in and seen ad sets with like hardly any spend. I mean, sometimes they won't even get 100 impressions and like 80% of your spend will be allocated somewhere else. So I always like to force Facebook to do a little bit of spend on the ad sets to make sure they're collecting data and can optimize appropriately. Then over here on the ads, this is how I like to do it. If you're new, this is what I recommend. You want to take your best guess at what your best image is going to be in your best copy. Now, the way you get this is through product research. Look at what's working for other people. Look at the ads that come across your newsfeed with lots of social proof. And I want you to imitate what they're doing right. The commonalities you see, I want you to imitate what they're doing right. Another saying I have is you imitate before you innovate, right? Imitate before you innovate, right? If you're new, don't go out there trying to break the mold. Trust me, the market will crush you. Try to learn from what successful people are already doing, right? So you're going to want to take the best ad, best image, best copy, and run your ad. So this is called the wishing well method. One CBO campaign, $25 a day, 5 ad sets. We're going to use unique interests for graduation, and then 1 ad a piece. Now let's talk a little bit about your targeting. Here's kind of what I would recommend for your testing on your targeting. You're going to want to go have 1 ad set with parents with children 18 to 26. The cool thing about this particular demographic is you're going to hit people graduating from high school and people graduating from college in a single interest, right? So that's one I would definitely test. Parents, and that's the one that's had the most success for me on graduation products I've run in the past. Parents with teenagers, 13 to 17, usually don't see as much action in this, but I test it every single year. Graduation can be another one. High school can be another one. You can run one completely broad, completely open. Another thing is if there's specific colleges, you can tie all those into a big stacked interest campaign, because you might have people in high school, right, that are shopping around for colleges, right? Facebook's smart enough to kind of know that. And if you stack all those colleges into a single ad set interest stack, you might pull some sales out of that as well. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. Look, guys, everybody asks me basically for a blueprint on how to do this. And I honestly hate giving people blueprints. I'd rather you learn the principles that make the business work. Because then when you move on to the next niche, you don't need anybody to spoon feed you the exact steps, right? You know how to think about it, you know how to problem solve, you know how to get running. So for me, if I were running graduation campaigns, and in fact, there's somebody on my team that is, this is how I'm going to start. I'm going to start by testing these 5 interests. You can also layer in some other targeting or test ad sets with this targeting as well. I like parents. Parents is a big one. Usually if you have parents, you have multiple kids. Kids have friends. So even if you're a parent and you have kids that aren't graduating, maybe your kid's friend who is graduating and they've been invited to the party. Another thing is family. I like families because you have cousins. You have, just imagine a family, right? Like it's a web of relationships, and there are people graduating in extended families all the time. And these are great people to target because they'll just send a gift in the mail, that kind of thing. You make it really easy. I also like high school sports, mainly like that because they're usually a little bit more invested in just the school experience, right? So I think they would be more willing, right, or interested in buying a graduation specific product. So this will be available for download after the call. I'll let you download all the slides. So after this call, I want you to come back to this, refresh the post. I'll have the link at the bottom of the post, and you can download all of these slides. If you're new, it would be really helpful so you can set up your campaigns correctly. So that is how I would target. That's how I would tackle the graduation niche. Now, let's talk about message cards real quick. We've got 8 message cards we're going to give away to you for free. Don't forget the 3 products you need to do these with: the cross, the birthstone necklace, and the pea pod necklace. You can download these here in this link. Sophia, if you could put this link in the chat, I'd really appreciate it. I'll also drop this link in the post later so you can reference it pretty easily. Here are 8 message cards you can start testing with to get going on graduation. I'd recommend if one of these hits off for you, take the phrase, start experimenting with that phrase on some other designs. Keep in mind, I'm sharing these publicly and out in the open, so you're probably going to get a lot of competition here. However, if you take the phrase, put your own design on it, boom, it's yours, it's unique, and you don't have near as much competition in the marketplace. So these are some free message cards coming at you. All right, now let's get to Q&A with Mario Menduni. He looks a lot better here without a neck brace and a face mask on, doesn't he? So, all right, let me pull you up, Mario. Oh, hey, Tiffany is here.
Yeah, I gave it a link. Yeah.
All right.
She's loaded up. Let me touch on something Michael said. So what he said about the life cycle of graduation versus a lot of other events, right? So if anybody's familiar with Google Trends, right, just go to trends.google.com, okay? Type in Valentine's Day gifts and do a 5-year chart. So every year you're going to see the same bell curve, right? Type in Mother's Day gifts. Every year you're going to see the same bell curve. And on both of those events, especially Valentine's Day, you can't get somebody a gift late for Valentine's Day. Not if you want to stay married, right, Michael? Yeah. You can't.
Yeah, that's right. That's why it sells so well.
Yeah. You get away with giving somebody a gift late for Mother's Day a little bit, right? You can say, oh, did you get it yet, Mom? I bought it for you, right? But again, with both of those trends, you have a very specific selling period. And like you saw with Tiffany, which she's about to come on, we had to scale that store extremely fast because we caught it a little bit late in the run for for Mother's Day on this one. She also did 50K for Valentine's. But with that one, we had to absolutely floor it, right? There's no room to get the business up and running. And if it's your first winter, you won't really have the time. For Facebook might have you capped at like $200 a day or $1,000 a day, and you're not going to have the capability to really capitalize it. But on something like graduation, if you put in graduation gifts into Google Trends, you're going to for a 5-year chart, you're going to see those same bumps, right? Every year. But the difference here is that you can sell on the left side and on the right side of that curve. So this is a trend that like Michael was saying, you have a long time to hit your winner versus a lot of the other events. And you have a long time to optimize that, to get your credit cards right, to get your store, whether it's Shopify or your landing page or your price point, or creative, whatever it is. You have a lot of time, or user-generated content. You have a lot of time to optimize that winner. Maybe you test 10 different variations of the winner with different quotes. You have a lot of time to really dial that thing in for maximum probability. Maybe you manual bid and you're like trying to find your bids. There's so many things when you have more time to optimize on the Facebook level and on your actual level of the product and your skills. And that's what's really cool about this graduation opportunity is you got a lot longer. You got that 6 weeks.
Yeah, so I want to make sure I'm following you. I think you're saying the same thing I am. It's less of a peak, right? And it's more of just kind of a swell, right?
And on both sides of that, I teach you like the bell curve, right?
Right.
On both sides of the bell curve, you can make money with this, right?
Right.
And so, but with Valentine's Day gift, only the left side of that curve.
Oh, I see, because you have the shipping cutoff. I got you. Yeah.
You have a cutoff, like you have to get that gift to the significant other.
Yeah, totally.
Specifically, that one day for the entire world has to have that gift by that day.
Yeah. Well, I love Valentine's in particular because February 1st, it's like off to the races with Valentine's Day, because who knows how many men wake up on February 1st like in a panic.
Right. It's
Just
truly a
like, crap, it's Valentine's
problem-solving
Day.
product at that point, right? That's
Yeah,
one of the easiest things about drop shipping is to find a winner. Test as many. The model, the customer service is terrible with drop shipping versus working with ShineOn. But with when you have something like Valentine's Day, it actually becomes a problem-solving product because you're going to have a big problem if you don't buy a gift for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, 100%, man. Totally. All right, let's get Tiffany up here. Hey, for everybody else watching, this is a Q&A. So whatever questions you have, ask them now. There's about a 30, 60 second delay between us and you. So ask your questions now while I get Tiffany up here. And we'll get rolling through your questions here in just a second. All right, let's see. Tiffany.
Hi. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, no, thanks for jumping on. It's very...
Oh, I think you just got muted.
I did. That was weird. Have you ever done one of these before?
No, this is the first time, and you totally caught me off guard. I was actually on the phone with a customer.
Oh, no. Well, thanks for joining. Appreciate having you. So now I have a question. You piqued my interest. A customer. Customer for what?
Customer for the order that they placed for Mother's Day, because we're approaching, obviously, Sunday very fast. And these are mostly customers that place their orders the day of the cutoff or the day before the cutoff. So they're very nervous that the orders wouldn't arrive on time. So customer service is a whole nother level of engagement.
So you're doing your own customer service. So hey, I should probably qualify for everybody in the chat. Tiffany had her own Shopify store. She installed the ShineOn app. So currently in that setup, you don't benefit from ShineOn providing customer service like we do on the platform, right? So that's the difference. So you're doing your own customer service. Do you have any VAs or anything like that helping you?
We do. Yes, we do have a VA. So actually for Valentine's Day, he did most of the customer service. However, right now, he's in the Philippines, so we have a time difference. So most of the emails come in like 4 or 5 in the morning because most of our customers, or a lot of our customers, are from the East Coast. So I just jump on there. And then it's interesting because in the morning, there are a lot of customer service emails and phone calls. And then as the day goes on, they die down a little bit. So it makes more sense for me to do customer service for the time being. Obviously, it's also a really good experience to see what customers are asking for. And then we definitely plan on having 2 shifts of customer service dedicated VAs for Q4. I will not be doing this for Q4 for sure. But to me, I think as a business owner, it's very important to know how to do that part of the job and what people are asking for at what time frame, so we can later on hire the VA for that time period and plan accordingly.
Yeah, awesome. So let's first of all, I commend you for doing that, because many people don't take this seriously enough to even set up a phone number, take calls from customers, or anything like that. It's all that goes on the back burner. So I commend you for doing all of that. Tell us a little bit about you and who you are and how you got into the e-com game for those that don't know.
Okay. Long story short, I wanted to do e-com for a number of years because I want the flexibility of working anywhere, anytime, and having the ability of going into an industry that is on the rise, not on the down. And my background was in accounting and finance. And so numbers are really what I do. I'm not a marketer. I'm not a customer service person. I'm not definitely e-com. So I met Mario about last July, I think, Mario. And he literally is like my godfather for e-com. He started this whole journey. And the first meeting I had with him, he felt very solid because he was giving me information that I didn't know. I mean, I had no clue besides having a Shopify store. So it was really the weekly calls that I had with Mario that I started the store. And I was looking at doing originally drop shipping, but the timing is such a significance that I didn't want to go that route. And then I started doing PLD and t-shirts and mugs. And one thing I realized is I don't wear t-shirts. I'm about 5 feet tall and 100 pounds. So most t-shirts don't fit me. So I don't understand t-shirts. I did some designs. We had a decent run on testing and nothing really hit it. And I think partially I just don't understand the market. I don't understand the product. And that's when Mario really started mentioning ShineOn, which was a strange word at the time for me. And I started looking into it as a girl.
Way to go, Mario. By the way.
So as a woman, I personally love jewelry. So I understand the space, and we're selling to women, which I also can understand. So to me, it was kind of the perfect time and with the perfect marriage of me, ShineOn, Mario, and all together. So at about the same time when last November was when I met my business partner in his private coaching group, and we partnered up and started doing ShineOn exclusively. By the time we partnered up, it was already into late December. So we decided to forego Q4 and just concentrate on Valentine's Day. And we did fairly well as a new partnership and know nothing about the products and how this goes. So a lot of that was really Mario's help hand holding us on weekly basis, calls after calls and conversation after conversations, and even chats on Facebook. So really
you don't have to brag on me too much. I appreciate it.
Well,
let's talk more about what you guys are doing, because you're doing the work.
Okay.
I'm getting bashful here. I appreciate you talking me up, but let's
thank you.
talk more about your journey. Let's so people can really understand, what it takes and
Okay.
what
So one
you
thing
guys
I definitely learned is it's a work that in order to really scale and be able to find a winner, we had to do a lot of testing. We had to do a lot of designs, a lot of messages. And actually your coffee with Michael was really helpful in terms of finding the right message and how to stitch them together. And that was extremely helpful to know one, the source of, where to find those messages, and two, how to spot them as a tearjerker, and three, how to stitch them together so they do flow fairly well together, and then put it on different type of backgrounds and graphics and see what works and what don't. And
can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So I hope you don't mind. I may interrupt here off and on, just ask some questions. So you said you had to test a lot. Quantify that real quick, because here's the thing: there are a lot of people watching this. They're hungry. They have the desire, right? But they're also new, right? So they would love to achieve even a little bit of the success you had in the run up to Mother's Day. But I want people to understand kind of what that takes, so they don't get discouraged during the journey. So how many did you test? Can you throw a dart at that?
So for Valentine's Day, I would say between maybe 50 designs, 50, 60, I would say safely. Because we were just churning them out. One of the advantages we had is we have a small team behind us, behind my partner and I. We had 2 designers and a VA. So the 2 designers were working with us simultaneously to crank out designs after we find messages. And then the VA was responsible in helping us upload the products and also help us upload the ads. So with the team, we were able to progress a lot faster. When I was doing it on my own at the very beginning, I was doing it on Canva by myself, and it would take me 2 hours to get one design out, where with the designers, we can crank out about 20 to 30 a week if we really push hard.
Yeah, so let me jump in real quick. So for all the new people listening to this, you're thinking, whoa, they've got a whole team. It doesn't have to be that way. So I cranked out my own designs basically until I hit my first big winner. And I went through probably 150. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing when I started, and there weren't near as many resources out right now. But I got really, really good on the design side of things because I was just doing it myself inside of Photoshop. You don't have to use Photoshop. You can use Canva. The more you do, the faster you'll get. The other thing is, I tell people this a lot, keep the design part of it kind of minimal, right? You don't have to spend tons and tons and tons of time getting the design perfect. Most of the, at least in my experience, what I've seen work, what I see commonly work, most of the time it's that phrase that makes or breaks something. And once you get the phrase locked in, then you can go back and spend tons of time on a really nice design or testing a bunch of different designs on the phrases. So you can totally do this on your own without a team. If you do want some help with the design, you can go on Fiverr. You can get designs cranked out for you for $5 a pop. You got to be a little careful because the quality is not great, but there are some good designers out there. I've tested them. You can also go into Upwork and you can find a designer on Upwork that'll crank out designs for like $10, $15 a pop, sometimes a little bit more. Again, quality is important. You're going to want to test all these people, but you can get designers for very cheap. Don't let this be a limiting factor in proceeding. Anyway, go ahead.
Actually, I want to follow up on that message you just said. So for Valentine's Day, we had one major winner and two smaller winners. And all of them, especially the two little ones, were graphic heavy. So in our mind, we thought, we need to do graphics. So between Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, we spent a lot of time on design, and none of them panned out. So what we did is we pretty much threw everything out and started brand new and concentrated on the message. And it was the message that we found and rewrote, that my partner rewrote, and we just put on a simple background. And that was the one winner for us for Mother's Day. And it was very surprising that we kept on thinking back to what you said over and over again. It's the message that sells. It's not the graphics. It's not the background. The background helps, but it's the message that people interpret.
Yeah, perfect. No, thanks for sharing that. So here, let's bridge the gap here. So that was Valentine's Day. Mother's Day, you had a great run up. Give us the quick rundown on how you did so well for Mother's Day. What did you come in at in totality? I know you got over $100,000 in revenue. Do you know where you landed?
I think 110 altogether.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I know, so originally we were thinking of turning the ads off after Mother's Day, after the 4th cutoff. And because you actually mentioned to keep it running. So I'll go backwards. The 2 weeks leading up to Mother's Day was still fairly slow. We were getting like $1,000 a day, $2,000 a day. And then once we had that winner, it just completely catapulted us. And the Friday before, we were at 9K. And then the Saturday before, we hit 10. That was our first time hitting a 10K day. And then Sunday, because weekends are, Fridays are usually good for us. So we thought, okay, 9K, the weekends would drop a little. But Saturday was 10K. Sunday was a little bit better than that. And then Monday and Tuesday just completely went off the charts. And then Tuesday, we were one order away from hitting 20K.
Congratulations. Isn't that cool when you hit those revenue milestones?
Yes.
Isn't that freaking cool?
Yeah,
I love that.
Exhilarating. Man. And then even on Wednesday after the cutoff, we still did 8K in revenue. And then yesterday we did about 4K. So we definitely see the drop. But combined with combining the 2 days after, we did 12. That was still pretty phenomenal, I say.
So the first time I had a major run, I had the Shopify app on my phone and I had the notifications turned on. And I remember going into work because I worked full time. I was like managing the ads from my phone, but my phone was going zzz, zzz, like a couple times a minute with all the sales coming in. And it was just like, gosh, that was so cool. And by the end of the day, my battery was about dead, but I just didn't want to turn off the notifications because it's incredible. The first time you have a major run, it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
So congratulations. I'm super happy to hear about your success. Glad that at least in some small, tiny way, I was able to be part of that. It's super satisfying. I'm sure Mario loves that too. It's probably why he's drawn to coaching. So, hey, let's talk a little bit about graduation. So are you going to do any experimentation for graduation?
Yes, we are. So we're actually actively working on about 12 designs at the moment. And I'm in the process of stitching together more quotes for the designers to put on. So I don't know, we don't have a target of how many we're going to test for graduation yet, but for us, this is a numbers game. So we're going to test as many as our budget will allow, and then as long as we can.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're going after graduation. Many people leave money on the table because they don't touch it. I mean, seriously, it's baffling to me, but many people do not go after graduation. And I've seen success after success after success come out of it. And granted, as Mario said before, the selling season's a little different, right? It's not like a normal holiday, but there's money to be had. So I've always been surprised that people look past it. So I wish you success in the graduation season. So here's what we're going to do. Tiffany, if you have time and you want to keep hanging out with us, what we'll do is I'll get to the Q&A. I've got some questions stacked up over here, and we'll just kind of kick it around. We'll do a little round table, get everybody's thoughts, make a good discussion out of it.
Okay, sounds good.
Give me a minute here while I find a good one. Here's one from Facebook users. There a better way to advertise than Facebook? So I'll kind of start it off, and we'll get your thoughts, and then we'll round robin these in the future. So I would say for e-commerce, currently, Facebook kind of owns the marketplace. And really all I mean there is I have not seen any other place scale quite the way Facebook does. That's not to say Facebook is it, and that's all there is. Google Shopping can work really well. I've launched my own Google Shopping campaigns. I've done really well. Snapchat can work really well once you get your pixel kind of dialed in. People are starting to have success with TikTok. If you know how to get Pinterest kind of working for you, Pinterest can work really well. There's a lot of other platforms, and all of them can work once you learn the platform. But I have yet to see any scale in the same way that Facebook has. The way Facebook has scaled has just been, to me, absolutely phenomenal. So that's my answer. Mario, what do you think?
Yes to everything you said. Also, it comes down to sort of like knowing thyself, right? So if you're somebody that has a huge team of VAs, or just managing a huge team of VAs is your thing, then you might find that an omni-channel strategy is going to work for you, right? Where you can just get a ton of SKUs up on Amazon, Etsy, I don't know, PopSmart. I'd have to ask my sister, all the different places that are like organic on the internet, and can just absolutely add up to a decent living without having to spend a lot of money on ads. Now, Google Shopping can work like that too, but it's a little more price sensitive, and definitely the learning curve for Google Shopping is much steeper. And frankly, Google's really boring. Okay, so Facebook, there's just nothing like Facebook as far as Michael said with scalability, also with just the instant data that you can purchase. You put something up within $25, $50, you have a good idea if this thing has a shot. And it's just like that quick. And you have an idea to execution to scale. There's nothing like it.
Yeah. So Tiffany, what do you think? You're muted.
Sorry. I definitely second Mario because it's instant results, instant reflection. So it's definitely a great place to test and scale. However, they are crazy expensive. There are days I'm looking at the credit card payments and my heart is pounding. So one of the things we like to do, and we will do between now to Q4, is start doing a lot of SEO, because we do want to stay in this business in the long run. And I think having SEO dialed in on our website with other type of SEO mechanism will help us in the long run. So it's not an instant gratification, instant revenue generator, but in the long run, it will give us more profit for hopefully fewer dollars. Facebook is also very schizophrenic in my mind. So today it works, tomorrow it doesn't. Today you're on, tomorrow you're not. So it's difficult to run a long-term business on Facebook. So I would like to essentially expand our reach, and we have multiple ways of gathering information and gathering revenue.
Yeah, I think I would also just close off this question with Mario mentioned, Amazon, Etsy. I will tell you that We're starting to see a little bit of a tipping point. Maybe that's not the right way to put it, but we're seeing sellers have more and more and more success with some of those other marketplaces. We had a seller recently. I don't want to say their names. I'm just not sure if they'd be okay with it or not. But we had a seller recently. They did like amazing with Etsy. One of the top sellers on the platform to run up to Mother's Day was Etsy. That's kind of a tipping point for us. We've not seen that before, and it signifies how powerful some of these other marketplaces are, especially like in the midst of COVID. People are shopping more and more online, and these other places are becoming powerhouses that in the past haven't been. So yeah, I totally agree with you. It's good to have a lot of different strategies if you want to stay in the game long term. Here's another one. We'll kick this one over to Mario, and then Tiffany and myself. Tiffany, thanks for coming on here. Oh, well, we'll still start with Mario, then we'll jump to you, and we'll circle around. What's the best scaling tip that you can pass on?
Okay, well, let's keep it simple. The CBO algorithm is doing the best with auto bidding. And I'm coming over to the CBO side with manual bids as well. I used to love ABOs, but just the way that Facebook's changed things, the ABO algorithm seems to be getting dumber every year, and the CBOs are getting more intelligent. Okay. Within that, I like to do a lot of multivariant testing that I do use ABO strategies for. So I'll create a creative sandbox campaign. And this comes down to, depending on how much time you have before your cutoff date, you can do more of this creative testing. And this has worked extremely well for me in drop shipping, and it works well in ShineOn as well. But in ShineOn, a lot of times you have a smaller window. So what you might want to do is, if you can get, like 10 different pieces of user-generated content, or try 5 different headlines, or even try 5 different background colors on your design, and then you run those in a creative sandbox where you're spending maybe $7 to $15 a day on all the same, on every single ad set to the same exact audience, with just changing one variable. And if you can find some creatives that work, all you got to do is grab that post ID, duplicate it right into your scaling campaigns, whether that's a manual bid scaling campaign or an auto bid. Now, the stronger the design,
that'd be an ABO campaign, wouldn't it?
It'd be ABO for the creative sandbox. So I want to spend the same money to the same audiences at the exact same time. I want it to be as scientific as possible, right? Now, as far as scaling goes, I lost my train of thought on that. Whether it's the stronger the winner is, the better your profit margin is going to be with auto bids, right? If you get into manual bidding and you want to squeeze out a higher ROAS, and once you get that skill, it's a great skill to have. It takes a little time to optimize, and sometimes you can have something that was going to be break even actually turn a profit in your manual bid campaigns, where you couldn't really force it to in your auto bids. That said, maybe you should have just tested 5 different quotes. With that same time, you could have tested 10 or 20 different quotes, found something that was such a home run that you didn't have to get crazy complicated with scaling. But sure, there's some great advanced scaling techniques, whether it's the cost cap or the bid cap algorithm. You got to get to know your particular bidding strategy with that. I've also found that in CBO campaigns, we're seeing a lot better results if we have, if you're going to spend $5,000 a day or something. We're seeing better results if you have
larger budgets,
5 or 6 or 7 CBOs that are like 800 to 1,000 versus having the one CBO at 5,000. Unless it's a manual bid, then I'd rather have one big $5,000 budget and a ton of ad sets so that I can play around with different bids. So I hope kind of went through that, but hopefully you grab a couple nuggets from that, Paul.
No, I mean, look, Facebook for years has been bending the algorithm towards fewer campaigns and larger budgets. Like that's kind of what they've wanted forever. And we're seeing kind of late stage strategy here from Facebook.
Especially with the attribution the way it is now, the smaller budgets, you can't even count if it's true. You won't even know if it's true because the attribution, it might put it into a different ad set for you. And you're turning off the ad set that's actually working just because Facebook's attribution was wrong. And if you have campaigns and higher budgets, that's not an issue. Plus, you're not going to drop into Learning Limited, and you're going to get more optimization with the higher budget.
Unless you're using our built-in UTM tracking, which is coming soon, so stay tuned. All right, Tiffany, what do you think? Best scaling tip?
Well, pretty much everything that Mario said, because he's our he's our godfather when it comes to scaling. Another thing is, I think as many UGCs as you can, even for the ads itself, because obviously everyone's using the mock-ups that you guys have done and they look amazing. I've actually taken my own photos for in studio, and I understand now how difficult it is to get a real nice looking photo. But UGCs also is a great way to sell. It's more work for you, but it's absolutely worth it on the back end. You can print it at home, or you can go to like Staples and have them print it for you, which a lot of times the quality is better, so you'll look better on your UGC. And last thing is, make sure if you're really scaling, you have enough credit in your credit card, enough limit in your credit card to scale, because we ran into that problem this Mother's Day where we are bumped up against our credit limit pretty much every single day. And we have to have enough funds to come and pay off the credit card partially, if not full. So we have that limit to run the next day's ads. So there's a lot of juggling at the same time. It's definitely nerve-wracking, but it's a great way. At least this experience taught us what we need to do and prepare for Q4.
Yeah. So Mario and Tiffany both covered a lot on testing and the ads. I actually was going to follow up with some of that financial stuff as well, Tiffany, because what I found when I've really scaled campaigns, the first time I ever did it, I totally left money on the table because I was not paying close enough attention to my credit card. I don't know what I was thinking, but all of a sudden I kept getting emails from ShineOn saying, hey, you haven't paid this invoice yet. And I'm like, what do you mean? You got my credit card? Well, lo and behold, the credit card is completely maxed out, right? They can't invoice me for the products. So now my products are getting aren't in production yet. So I have to call the credit card company. Luckily, they were able to give me a extended line of credit, something like that. They were able to increase my limit temporarily. I got that paid off, went back into Facebook, got them all paid off, thought I was good to go. And then what happened? I thought I was good to go, got everything set up. And literally the next day I maxed everything out again. Had no freaking idea, because you have so many numbers flying around when you start to scale that you probably did great, Tiffany, because your background is in accounting, right? I'm like the marketing guy. You know what I mean? I'm just looking at sales and all of that. So I just was not thinking about those things. And I totally left money on the table because my card kept getting shut down. I eventually developed a system where what I did was I put everything on PayPal. So I made PayPal my primary payment method inside of Facebook. And then in PayPal, I loaded up a bunch of credit cards, right? So then when Facebook would go to charge PayPal, if credit card number 1 didn't work, PayPal would just grab credit card number 2 and send the money through. And if credit card number 2 didn't work, they go to credit card number 3. But when I scaled to huge levels, so like when I had my $92,000 day in revenue, I spent like $30-some thousand on Facebook that day. Like there was no other way I could keep that machine running unless I had all of that stuff kind of stacked up. And every time you get a credit card shut down and you have to stop your ads or whatever, it is so painful because you got to start those things over again. And you're not sure like if you can keep the pedal to the metal, right? Like you're not sure if that's a day you can spend more or you have to spend less because you don't know what sales have done for the last 24 hours. So it's so painful. So my advice would be really think through how you're going to fund your scaling when the time comes. When you start to see those sales come in, you need to really be thinking, okay, do I have a credit card that can support this? Do I have money in my bank account? Like you need to start thinking through those things so you don't hit any roadblocks while you're scaling. All right, here's another one for Sophia. We'll kick this one to you first, Tiffany. Would you have any tips for digging deep into a niche to find what resonates with your audience?
Good question. I think it's just a lot of research. I do, obviously Google research on Etsy, on Pinterest, and it really comes down to what, if it touches my heart, then I know it can touch somebody else's heart. But if I'm reading it and I'm feeling like, then it's probably a throw out. I wouldn't take myself as the best gauge for what other people will like, but we are all human. We're all kind of tuned into the same thing. So if I get moved even slightly, I know there is a chance. So for the winning quote that we had for Mother's Day, what I did is I found a quote that was good. We had the potential, but a couple of things didn't quite feel right. So my business partner, who is amazing, he actually took up on the task and rewrote part of that quote and really made it towards the person who's receiving it and all about her. It's all about this mom and what she did and what, she went through. So in, very few words, but that little bit tinkering made the quote so much better. And when I read it from the version before to the version that he's edited, it was a huge difference. And that's what resonated with people at the end. And that's why, so if, especially Sophie, if you are women, we usually have a higher, I guess, more instinct, listen to your heart. And if it feels right for you, it probably feels right for others as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Totally agree with that. And I love too how you got creative. You took a phrase that you thought would work, and then you kind of modified it to make it better. And then as soon as you did that, you had the corner in the market for that phrase because nobody else has it. So great job. So my biggest tip would be just dig deep with the research. If you didn't watch Coffee with Michael last week with Chris Blair is like the king of product research, in my opinion. That guy just, he just thinks about it on a completely different level than what I see most people teach. And he's totally right. Like 80-90% of your time should be spent on kind of the product research side. In my opinion, it's like, this is an R&D business more than it is a marketing business in a lot of ways. So when you're going to Etsy, when you're going to Amazon, when you're looking through AdSpy, don't just look at the top 10, 20, 30 items that are on there. That's what everybody is doing. It's what everybody is doing. Dig deep. Go to Etsy. Go to page 19, 20, 21. Just keep on digging. Try to find the little pockets of gold that nobody else has really tapped into. So my biggest advice would be go further than your competition, right? When you're looking for a phrase, you need to imagine you have somebody on a computer sitting right next to you also trying to find the next winning phrase, and you need to outwork them. That's how you need to be thinking about it. That's my answer. Mario, what do you think?
Oh, you guys absolutely nailed this one. Left me with scraps here. You guys, wonderful insights from Tiffany and her partner as well with what they did with these products. I did the same thing earlier in my career with dropshipping, where everybody's using the same spy tools. So you'd go 50 pages in and find something that nobody else was looking at. And I'm lucky enough to have a lot of clients and students and stuff that do the research, and then I get to do the fun part, which is help them scale and work on the higher level just strategy stuff. So Tiffany's probably better at product research than I am, to be honest. Yeah.
So I'll share a quick anecdote because I think it taps into the sentiment here. Back when I did had my first big winner a handful of years ago, manual bids were working kind of well, right? But the problem was nobody really understood quite how to make them pop. And I remember one day I went into my campaign. I was like, I'm going to test some of these manual bids. So I go, I'm going to start my bid at $50. And I go, no, because the next guy over, he's lazy. He's going to do 50. So I was like, I'm going to do $50.01. And I go, wait a minute, because there's another guy like me out there that's going to do $50.01. Right. So I was like, I'm taking this to the moon. I'm going to $99. I'm not kidding. It took me like 10 minutes to make this ad. Eventually, my bid was like $299.38 or something like that. It was something freaking ridiculous, but it worked. It actually worked. Now, I'm not saying that's because I outthought the next guy, right? I'm not really saying that.
Yeah, you were grabbing the best. You were only bidding into the best people in the purchase bucket. You were you were the bully in the room for your bids. Yep.
Yeah, and nobody else was bidding that high, right? Or very few people anyway. But my point is, the lesson in that story is you have to imagine you're in it's like the Hunger Games, right? It's like you're in a giant competition with a lot of other just savage entrepreneurs. You have to outwork them. You have to outpace them. That's how you find gold in this marketplace. I'm telling you, the people that consistently hit 6-7 figure years, they are not lazy, right? It is not a laptop lifestyle, hanging out in mansions on the weekends with your Lamborghinis and your pools. It's not that. It's work. You're grinding it out in front of a computer, and you're building a business. That's what this actually is. But it's worth it, and it's fun. So just putting that in perspective for people. All right, let's go on here. We'll do another one. Here's a good one. So Mario, we'll kick this one to you first. How much do you spend on testing one designer quote?
Okay, so for, let's say it's a brand new quote, brand new design into a niche that I maybe don't know the targeting proper at. It's pretty much the same setup that Michael has with his 5 different ad sets, except I'm probably going to do maybe just 3 ad sets with 3 different interests. And the interest could be close if I know the niche well, or if the broader the quote is, then the broader the targeting is going to be. So maybe I'll just narrow it by age, or I'll narrow it by engaged shoppers. But I like a CBO strategy of 25 to 35 a day for a design. I want that thing to run for at least 2 days. And I'm trying to sit on my hands for at least 2 days. Look at it 2 days, you spend about 50 to 75 bucks. And at that point, you can start looking at your KPIs. And most of them, most of your new ideas are going to be totally abysmal and just kill them, right? Some of your ideas are going to be like, all right, well, this may or may not work. Now you have to decide, all right, am I going to go to phase 2 targeting with this, phase 2 testing rather, which means do I let it continue to run at the same budget, or do I analyze it, make some conclusions, come up with some theories, and then test those theories in new iterations? Those theories might be, oh, okay, well, maybe my font's not very legible. Let me try a different version of this where that's worked on a different design for me. That's like less graphic. So maybe this quote's doing the job, or maybe this design element's doing the job. So let me try a smaller quote on it that looks better and see if the design element is testing for me. And so then you can sort of nudge it and kind of learn your market, and whether that one works or not, the next product that you test in that same market, you start to get a better idea of the design elements, the quote sizes, your interest targeting, and everything along those lines. But long story short, like at least $50 for something brand new. Yeah.
$50. So you're saying within $50, you should be able to analyze the results, know if you're onto something or not.
If it's like abysmal, you can definitely kill it, right? If it's on the border, sure, you might have to spend 75 or 100 to even come up with any conclusion, right? But after 2 days at $25, if it's terrible, I mean, like, you're getting really high cost, like $5 cost per clicks. You haven't had a single add to cart. I mean, it's a total miss. Just move on. Forget
it. Man. Cool. Tiffany, what do you think? I know you're kind of student here. So
actually about the same. My first testing was actually based on your metrics that you were teaching. So for essentially the just basic testing, $75 for 3 days. So $25 a day for 3 days. And so that's pretty much the retail price that we're charging. And if it doesn't have much traction, kill it, move on. One thing that definitely, I think I want to go back to the design a little bit. When I was making my own design, sometimes I get a little emotionally attached to it because I devoted however many hours into it. Now somebody else is doing the design. It's literally, if it works, scale. If it doesn't work, kill. There is no emotion. I feel like a robot, but in a way you have to be a robot in order to not waste your money, because every penny that you spend on testing that is not working is a penny that you're not using for scaling.
I actually am really glad you brought that up, because the emotional side of this is it's a whole different dimension you have to deal with, because I struggle a lot with wasting money. I've been very frugal my whole life. My grandmother like pinched pennies big time. Like she drank RC Cola her whole life because it was a money saving thing, and I grew up with some of that. And I remember spending money on ads, and I just felt like I was wasting money. Well, I learned from a guy named Samuel Go. He's an affiliate marketer. And he said, you're not wasting money, you're buying data. You have to tell yourself that. You're not wasting money, you're buying data. And I had to start to reframe some of that. And I also went through kind of what you said, where when I was doing my own designs, you kind of get attached to them a little bit. And it clouds your thinking, it clouds your judgment, and you don't make good decisions with it. So I'm really glad you touched on that, because it's important for everybody to kind of understand that can be an issue. So be aware of yourself and take measures to prevent it. I would say, again, I like my 2 times your break-even cost per purchase on how much you spend on a test. So it's a little tough to understand, but it's roughly $80, right? $75, $80 per test. I like to run my tests on Tuesdays. If I can, I like them to push all the way through Thursdays. I find that to be the best time during the week to do your tests. When you get a little closer to holidays, those rules kind of soften up a little bit. And you can expand those and run during other days during the week. But typically, from a process perspective, Tuesday through Thursday is when I see a lot of sales. I've analyzed millions of dollars in sales across long periods of time, and Tuesday through Thursday is where the bulk of your sales come in, year out. So that's kind of why I build my testing around that. And I just like that $70, $80 mark. I feel like it gives you enough data spread out over enough time to really make an educated guess. Now, that said, I also kind of agree with what Mario said, man. Sometimes you can just tell when someone is just crap, especially if you got some experience and you've done this for a while. You can tell right out of the gate if something's got legs or if it's a complete dud, and you can save yourself some money by managing those closely. All right, go to the next question. Who went first? Mario? So this one's over to you, Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany, do you have any Excel sheets? Oh, I guess this one's just yours. Do you have any Excel sheets you can share to help us be more organized in this crazy place? So they know you're an accountant and you love Excel. That's what's going on here.
Coming soon, TiffanyExcel.com. It's $7. We'll have it out in a day.
Unfortunately, I don't. Honestly, for me, it's just a quick and dirty in Excel. I don't have anything set up in that way. Honestly, Excel is great, but it's a lot of maintenance. And if I can push it onto the VA, we have the VA do it. In terms of our process flow, Trello is a really good program. You can use it for free. That's how we coordinate between the partners, between the VA and the designers. Skype is a great chat app that we use because we are in different locations. So in terms of, communication is on Skype and then our workflow is in Trello. It's the only way we can keep things straight. But I do find Excel every once in a while, I have like a tracking sheet in Excel. Other than that, I try to stay away from Excel actually as much as possible, because anything that needs to do, we like to get it automated from the get-go. If I'm spending or we are spending too much time on Excel tracking, then that's time away from creating messages or scaling ads. So if you can, I'm in the process of finding a good bookkeeper so they can go through the QuickBooks system and import the data, export the data, and do what they need to do to massage the numbers in the middle. But Excel is just for quick, dirty. If I'm actually use Excel to look at our cash intake or cash inflow, how much we have on the credit cards and how much we need to pay in order to keep a good balance. So that's just really like a quick 5-minute, 10-minute calculation. But other than that, I do not keep Excel sheets. Sorry.
Well, I'm a big fan of manually. So look, I don't know if you guys know about my IM algorithm method, but it's where you basically watch your ads like they're a stock ticker or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you're like adjusting all day long. Gary Contreras in his recent post where he did, I can't remember how much he did in revenue. He also kind of manages his ads on a daily basis. I'm actually a big fan. If it's the first time you've ever scaled, you need to track. I don't think you necessarily have to do it in Excel, but I am a big fan of keeping tabs somewhere on the time of day and your revenues. And I'm going to show you a quick example of what I mean. I just did this in the little note app. I don't think you're really going to be able to see it very well. But each one of these is a day. Each little block in there is a day. And what I'm recording there is the time of day and my revenue. And you can see that each day I probably have, 50, 60 entries. And it's because I'm trying to get a pulse on the day. When are my peak sales period? When does it slow down? When does it pick back up again? Because all of that will come into play if you have to start day parting your ads or you have to start adjusting your ads in some other kind of way. So I'm kind of a big fan, especially when you're new, to track, because there's just so much you learn when you're tracking, but you have to be kind of meticulous about it. And again, I'm thinking about it a little differently. I'm not thinking about accounting, I'm not thinking about balancing books. I'm thinking about understanding the ebbs and flows of the marketplace and seeing when my margin is best, my margin is weakest. Like, am I making any money at all at nighttime? How much does Facebook, if I'm running CBO, is Facebook really scaling my stuff back overnight? Like, I think through all that kind of stuff, because if I need to jump in there manually and make adjustments to increase my margins, I want to be able to do that. Anyway, Mario, what do you think?
Oh, exactly along your lines. Especially when I'm scaling with manual bids, a lot of times, you're doing great all day long, and then I feel like Facebook like changes the dealer on you in the evening hours, and all of a sudden your ROAS just tanks. You still get some purchases, but it's like you're giving back a lot of the money. So knowing which day it is, knowing your niche, once you get in there, a lot of times I'll turn my ads off at like 9 p.m. Eastern, no matter how profitable they are, or at least I'll scale back the budgets on them. Right? Because a lot of times you get the money back. And there's certain niches where it's very, very time dependent. There's others that people kind of shop at all hours of the day, right? Like, for example, I've done, and I've had students do millions in the pregnancy niche, in drop shipping and in POD. And that niche is very, very much, if you're selling to the US, you're just like not going to make a sale after 9 p.m. Like, for the most part. So you got to turn those ads off, and then you just have them just set up a rule to launch them right back up at like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm with you. All the way on that one. You just, when you're, who was it? I had somebody, Ricky. I'm not sure if Ricky's here or not. Ricky was scaling. I think it was Ricky around Christmas, and his margin was all over the place. He'd do great one day, not so great the other day. So he started tracking things hour by hour, and it became very apparent very quickly where he was bleeding on the margin. And so he started adjusting where he was just turning his ads off in the middle of the day. So he was milking it when sales were best, when his margin was best, then he'd turn the ads off so he wouldn't lose the rest of the day. So he's locking in profits on a daily basis. So that's the power of that kind of tracking. So, hey, let's
you can do that. You can do that with rules too, especially at scale. If you're not spending enough money, rules don't work, because you just don't have enough to save your butt. But if you're doing at least 1,000, 2,000 a day, and it's not a ton of different campaigns and ad sets, then the way they get away from the computer and still make some money. Set some rules in place, and you can tighten those rules up as the day goes too. Like, if you have a rule that says, hey, maybe this ad set, all the ad sets in this campaign get turned off if the cost per purchase goes over 41, okay, which is maybe your break even. That's your normal rule. But then let's say you've had a really profitable half day, you want to go leave the house and not have to worry about your computer for the next 5-6 hours. Maybe you drop that 41 down to like 29 or something, and so it's like, in stock trading, you lock in your profit, right?
It's like a stop loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Gain in that, or whatever the term is in that one. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I think that's key is that you have to be willing to adjust that, right? And what I see a lot of people do is they'll leave that rule on at their break even, but you don't want that, because if you've spent your entire day at $20 CPPs, that rule is not like, you are just going to bleed profit. And that rule is never going to fire. You might end the day with $30 CPP, losing $10 profit per sale up until that point, because your rule didn't fire in time. So yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. So hey, we've gone for about an hour and a half. We've ripped through some questions. Tiffany, super happy to have you on. Let's round this out with, we got a lot of new people on. Graduation's coming up. Can you give us kind of your best tip for a new person? I'll go to Mario and Tiffany, and then we'll close this off. Best tip for somebody that's new, trying to get on their feet, trying to make it in this business. What would you say, Mario?
Just try not to be afraid. Just take action. Get out there, test some stuff. Don't get analysis paralysis. Don't get shiny object syndrome. Feel like you have to take one more course or buy another course, or you're not quite ready yet. All right, so you're not quite ready yet. So what? I didn't know what the heck I was doing when I did my first like $500,000. It was a total mess. So what? But you got to test. If the more you got to get out there, you got to test. What Tiffany said about not getting emotionally involved, you have to put all your creativity into the product research and into your product design and into the quote, and maybe even some interesting targeting options. Put creativity into all that stuff. Channel your creativity and emotions into that, and then become robotic about turning off your losers. Have some rules in place. As long as it's a good testing strategy, go with Michael's, obviously. And have those rules in place, follow them like a robot, and let your creativity be in the product creation, product selection, and angles. right?
Yeah, totally agree with you. Great stuff. Tiffany, what do you think?
I think Mario just said everything I wanted to say. Thanks, Mario. I think dig deep definitely helps, and don't be afraid to stitch your own messages. And even if they don't have to sound like they came out of college English class, actually what we find is the message, the easier it is to read, the easier it is to sell, because people are looking on your ads and trying to read it in probably 3 seconds or less for at least the first part of it. If they can read that part and understand it and then get grabbed into it, they will read the rest of your message. Otherwise, if it's too academic, then it's like reading an English book. So the more speech type of message, the better it is. So don't overcomplicate yourself. English is not my first language. So I was actually thinking I'm, stitching phrases together from as a second language and selling to people who are speaking it as a first language. And it was actually very scary at the beginning because I have a lot of that doubt in myself. But once I realized it's just how I'm talking to you, to anybody, then it becomes a lot easier. And it's okay to make grammar mistakes or even sometimes maybe tiny spelling errors. People are more forgiving on that, and you can always correct it on the product page. So just take a lot of action, show up. One of the things I learned since last summer until now is showing up is the biggest battle. Once I'm here, doing everything is easy, but show up for coffee with Michael, show up for if you have other masterminds, show up for yourself, set a time of the day that you dedicate to this work. And over time, you will see results. Hold yourself accountable. If you have someone else that can hold you accountable, make sure you have that. Because to me, whether it's working out in the gym or doing this business, part of my success so far is having that accountability partner.
Yeah, fantastic. I agree 100%. Well, look, Mario was in a car accident today. I don't know if you saw his picture earlier. So he had Tiffany didn't know.
No.
Yeah, you should.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm a little banged up. I'll get a little therapy. It's not the worst.
I'm glad you're okay.
Nope, we're showing her the picture.
Okay.
We're showing her the picture because she's on screen and everybody will get to see the reaction here. This was Mario.
That's just a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, thank you for coming on the call.
That's one of Alex's t-shirts. One of our other
nice.
Other mastermind. That's his brand. Yeah.
So he sent me that and he's like, I'm still gonna make it to coffee with Michael. I was like, oh my gosh, dude. So
that's showing up. That's Tiffany's number one piece of advice. Show up.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that completely. So thanks so much, Mario, for joining. Mario, if people want to learn a little bit more about you, where can they do that?
Oh, just go to mariomanduni.com. It's as simple as that. I like to give out free consults. Book a call. Send me an email. Just subscribe to the list. Reply to whatever email you get automatically, and we'll have a chat. You can ask me some questions. It's not hard to find me at all. Find me on Facebook, too. Add me as a friend.
Yeah, thanks for that, man. Thanks for showing up. Great tips today. Tiffany, congratulations on your success. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do the rest of this year. You're going to have an amazing Q4 at this rate. If you keep it up, you are going to be you may add a few digits to that 6-figure number in Q4 to get your system set up. So congratulations. Super happy for you. Super happy I could be even a tiny part of that. So thanks so much for showing up, guys. And we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
What's up, everybody? Michael Christ here. I want to thank you so much for checking out today's video. Before you leave, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Check out all the links in the description below, particularly the link to register on ShineOn.com and also the link to our Facebook group where we are constantly sharing marketing tips and tricks to help you take your e-commerce game to the next level. So once again, I hope you enjoyed today's video and we'll see you in the next one.